Hello, welcome back to Sam Time Tomorrow. Today I'm in the kitchen and I'm getting ready for my daughter's birthday. So the first thing I'm making in the kitchen is a Death by Chocolate cake with a little twist on it using peanut butter. For this recipe, you will need a chocolate cake mix, jello pudding, whipped topping, and milk. So the recipe actually calls for a mousse pudding, but I was not able to find that in the store. So using the ingredients on the Jello box, I'm going to manipulate it a little bit so it's more fluffy to get that mousse consistency. So I'm using half the milk it's recommending, and the other half is going to be the whipped topping that I use to make it more fluffy, to create a fluffy layer in the cake. Once I got the pudding to a consistency I liked, I started adding a little bit of whipped topping. Now I didn't want to add this all at once because I didn't want it to deflate and lose its fluffiness, so I add a little bit to begin with and then add more gradually. You can see it's a lot fluffier now. It's probably not really a mousse consistency, but it held up really well in the Death by Chocolate cake that I created. Now for the spin I want to do on this. So I wanted to add peanut butter to this cake because everyone in my family really enjoys peanut butter. So using some of the whipped topping, I'm adding peanut butter and I'm going to whip it up on the side first. So the same thing as before, I don't want to deflate the whipped topping. So doing this starts to add a little air to that peanut butter and then incorporating it into the rest of the whipped topping. The original recipe called Force Bar to be added to the cake. Looking in stores, I couldn't find any, so to build on that peanut butter flavor that I'm doing, I am adding Reese cups. I have some that I'm going to be adding to the top as a decorative trim, and then I'm going to slice the rest of these cups up very thinly and add them in as a layer in the cake. I do not have a traditional straight edge trivet bowl, so I found this glass mixing bowl I had in the cupboard, and I'm using this instead to be able to see the layers on the side. So my cake's already done. I put on some gloves because I just didn't feel like having greasy texture on my hands. So I'm adding a layer of cake to the bottom, and I'm going to do this in 2 layers. Cake, next I'm going to add my mousse-like pudding, and after I'm done adding the pudding, I'm going to add a layer of the peanut butter whipped topping that I made, and then I'm going to do it all over again. So add cake, add the pudding, and then add the whipped topping, and in one of those layers I'm also going to add the candy that I chopped up. I was really intimidating making this cake because I just thought it was going to be really hard, but my husband's grandma always said it was an easy cake to make, and finally doing it, I see what she means, and it's kind of therapeutic doing it too because it's messy, but it's tasty and fun. A little bit more of that peanut butter whipped topping on top, so I'm just mixing some up more. I'm really happy how this cake turned out. My daughter really enjoyed it, and everyone at the party liked it as well. It wasn't exactly Death by Chocolate, but I'm pretty happy with it, and I really like the peanut butter flavor that was in it. I wanted hot dogs because some people don't like brisket, and I just wanted a simple meal. My mother-in-law brought over her hot dog roaster, and it turned out really well. I didn't get any photos of them on the roller, but they looked very good. Now for the main event. I made brisket for my daughter's party. I think it turned out really good. I did it in the slow cooker, and you could eat it either on a roll. I had potato rolls, or you could just eat it as is. I will link the recipe down below that I used. It's very good. I made it a few different times. There's a dry rub that you make, and there's also a barbecue sauce. So right here I'm making the barbecue sauce. Adding all the different ingredients. There's Worcestershire sauce, there's vinegar, garlic, and a bunch of different spices with a little bit of sugar and ketchup. I actually mixed up the dry rub and the barbecue sauce the night before. It was really convenient being able to pop it right into the crock pot the next morning and not have to worry about it. It marinated overnight in the dry rub and just adding extra dimension and flavor to it. Once the brisket was cooked, the barbecue sauce wasn't as thick as it normally was. I'm not sure if there was more moisture in the meat this time around, so I added a little bit of cornstarch to try to thicken up that barbecue sauce. Next, I had salads. I found cheap salad kits at a discount store for $2 each, and I had some salad dressings that I had recently gotten at a discount store as well. So this just was an easy, cheap side dish. I have these big stainless steel mixing bowls, and I put it in one of those, and it was just nice having some nice healthy greens on the side for this party. This was a special request for my daughter. It's a pasta salad that I make for her, and this is the same recipe that my mom used when I was a kid. And it's my favorite kind of pasta salad. So I like to use the rotini noodles. I like to use the tricolor ones because it just gives it more depth to the dish and it does add more flavor, I believe. So I just use Italian salad dressing that you make in the bottle. You can get this at Aldi's for 50 cents a packet. And you add cheese. I like to use sharp cheddar cheese. I had this left over that was shredded. I added it to the dish and then I left this in the fridge overnight, and the next day I added the pepperoni and more of the dressing. It turned out really good. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my daughter's favorites. She requested it, and it was a real hit at the party as well. And bonus points, it's really easy to make. My mom brought over this cheese and cracker tray and this vegetable tray. She had gotten them for $4 a piece, which I thought was a great price. And she also made some macaroni salad. I think people enjoyed themselves at my daughter's party. The food was delicious and it was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this food journey I took you on. And if you would like to see more from me in the future, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you. And I hope to see you next time.